Miss Linda here. So today I'll be sharing with you the one secret that will help you level up once and for all so that you never have to deal with toxic men. Now, if you're new to this channel, I post weekly videos on femininity, seduction, dating. So hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my weekly videos. Now, the first time I heard about shadow work, this was a concept I kept reading about, and I eventually got the beautiful opportunity to experience it. Now, many times as women, we've been programmed to be nice women, we've been programmed to be good girls, to follow the rules because good girls behave in a certain way and they don't talk too much, they're not too forward, and they're always nice and agreeable. Now, the thing is, this usually in many cases comes at the expense of you being your true self. And you will find so many women walking around giving, 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 because that is what they were raised to believe good women do. Now, when it comes to dating men, many women approach dating in that same respect, especially women who find themselves to be long-term girlfriends, or women in committed relationships where their men are just not meeting their standards or meeting their day-to-day needs. Now, shadow work is a super powerful exercise. This is where you bring everything that's in your subconscious, in your shadows, into the light. Now, what normally happens is we suppress all those negative experiences that we had. We suppress everything that we find not lovable. As human beings, we are complex. We have both light and dark within us, especially, that's just how we are. So the same way you are a nice babe is the same way you probably have some anger, or you have some rage, or some jealousy issues, lust issues. Now, what tends to happen is we suppress those unlovable parts of us. We suppress those elements because we don't think that if we showed up in our true authentic self, we will be accepted in society. And that's why so many people walk around with masks. Yeah, everybody is trying to present a personality that suits their day-to-day life. Everybody tries to show up in a way that's acceptable, such that if you see people who are walking solely in their shadow, and these are the people we like, on the extreme side of things, these are people who end up to be like criminals, or you'll find babes who just overuse their sexuality to the extreme. Because yes, we do have all those parts of us, but there are some people who outrightly live within our shadow. Now, the thing is, it's for you to be able to accept some of these unlovable parts. And when it came to my relationship, for instance, I didn't really realize that I still had some deep inner fears, some fears around love. And that was because I grew up seeing a lot of all kinds of relationships going on, and subconsciously I used to fear. I was also such a people pleaser by default. Like, I was your typical yes girl. If you wanted to do anything, I'd be there. I'd be always the sweet, agreeable person. But deep down, I didn't really want to do those things. I would only do that so that I'd make everyone around me happy. Now, with shadow work, you start to go deeper. You start to think back and look at what is it that made you become who you are now. If you're struggling in relationships, shadow work will help you really think back and see what are some of the limiting beliefs. Like, for instance, if somebody told you you're worthy, I was even having this conversation with one of the babes in my DMs, and I was telling a babe, do you know you're worthy of love? And immediately I could see the resistance. And it's the same way some women, if somebody tells you you're beautiful, some women will not want to accept that. Or even if you're complimented, you'll want to compliment back. So if somebody tells you, oh, Linda, you have a pretty dress, immediately say, oh, that dress, oh, it's cheap. I only bought it for 2 shillings, kind of thing. It's because there's that barrier that doesn't make you feel worthy. And remember, when we are born, we come into this world as such beautiful, abundant children. Like if you look at little girls, like 5-year-old girls, they are always all over the place with sparkles, shining, happy, and so vibrant. It's because they really are just themselves. And that's why children sometimes are full of themselves, literally. However, as you grow up, as you go through schooling, there's the religion, there's society, you're programmed to be in a particular way. And that kind of programming is what will make you accept to be in a relationship with a man who's not caring for you. That's the kind of programming that will make you subconsciously feel you're not worthy of attracting healthy love. Therefore, for you, it becomes normal. It's subconsciously ingrained in your mind. Yes, you meet a guy, you really say you want a nice man, but the moment he starts to actually be a good man, you sabotage that thing. You don't know why. You really say you want a healthy relationship, but the moment a nice gentleman shows up, all of a sudden you're bolting out of the door. Many women are walking around with esteem issues, with self-love issues, with being too much of a people pleaser, because we really truly forget who we are as women. And part of your feminine self-development is really to go back and look at what are some of these things that are giving you all these fears and insecurities and doubts around your worth as a feminine woman. And all these things, by the way, will cut across how you approach your entire life. Shadow work is whereby you go back. And if you find you have limiting beliefs around love, if you feel like you keep attracting a certain kind of man, the only thing that keeps changing is the height or his haircut, but the mannerisms are all the same way, the key to level up once and for all is to go deeper and really ask yourself, what is it that makes you subconsciously keep attracting this kind of love? So I have 5 very important questions that you can use to journal on to help you go deeper. And the first question, ask yourself, who taught you to love the way you love? What did you see growing up? What did you hear growing up? What was modeled for you? And it's not for you to dwell on the past. It's really for you to go back deeper so that you can start to understand what exactly is going on. And once you become aware, you're then in a more empowered position to be able to start making conscious choices. Yeah? So the first question for you to journal on, like I mentioned, who taught you to love how you love? What did you see? What did you hear? Or when it comes to romantic relationships. Okay? Number 2, ask yourself, the last 3 men you broke up with, what did they have in common? Now, this is very interesting. Sometimes, yes, you say you want this kind of love. However, there is so much power in looking at your past. Not for you to get stuck in there, but as a point of reflection. Just take a step back and look at the last three men you were in a relationships. What were some of the traits they had in common? And also think back and see at what point did you start to notice some of the red flags. So reflect on your last 3 relationships and take some time to really just look at them and see at what point did you start having difficulties with them. And then the other third important question is to ask yourself, how are you a recipient of the treatment that you're getting? So for instance, if you keep attracting men who never fulfill your needs, what is it about you that makes you a perfect reciprocal of that behavior? Same way, men who love to take, always end up with women who are overgiving. So if you're with a man who is selfish, and even if you express your needs, he's not meeting you at that point, maybe you've been you've been you've been in a relationship for some time, and he knows you want to settle down. However, he's just not proposing, or he keeps dangling the carrot. What is it about this man that makes him so comfortable to be with you? What qualities do you have? How do you enable that situation? Yeah, so look at what qualities do you have that make you a perfect reciprocal of men who misuse and devalue you. Okay? And then the fifth question to ask yourself, what exactly do you desire? Now, so many times women don't really know what they desire. And that's because we have been shamed for wanting big things. You'll hear things like, oh, don't dress up too much, or don't put on red lipstick, or if you're too clever, don't talk too much, don't show up. Like, it's like you're supposed to be a muted personality throughout. And that's why sometimes so many women don't really know what they want when it comes to love. So my question to you is, what kind of romantic relationship do you want? So if you say you want a provider kind of a man, are you the kind of a woman who can receive? Because women also have an issue with receiving. And it starts with the little things like I mentioned. Can you receive a compliment? Can you receive a gift? Are you okay with receiving help? Are you a good receiver? If you say you want a funny man, are you able to actually laugh at his jokes? So look at the list of qualities you say you want in a man and see how are you energetically a reciprocal of those qualities. Okay? So once you become aware of what you want, this is the perfect opportunity for you to start putting together action steps to take you towards the kind of romantic love that you want. Yeah? So let me know what do you think about shadow work, and is this a new concept? If not, are you going to journal on these questions? And I also offer private tutoring and oracle readings for love advice. So check out my email details in the description box, and speak with you soon. Bye.